This podcast is kindly supported by our friends at Acre Pharmacy, one of the key aesthetic pharmacies leading the way in responsible supply.
Bit of a loaded question, but who are your priority patients? So are they the clients that come in every 3 months, just have their toxin treatments with you and you don't see them again for 3 months? Or are they your massive packages that walk in and you do a full face rejuvenation and they spend thousands of pounds with you? Or have your energy-based devices that still spend thousands of pounds with you?
So I think the biggest makeup of your client base are your smaller clients. So I've got clients, I've been in aesthetics for 8 years now, and I've got clients that sometimes I see every 2 years, but they're still my clients, or my patients, I should say. They're still my patients, and they're still part of my patient base of my clinic that's been there for the last 8 years. And I'd say they're just as important as my new patients because they trust in me and they continue to use me, whether it be yearly or 2 yearly. I don't think you can really put a price tag on your patients and your favourite patients. I think everyone's just as important, whether they're buying a retinol off you or whether they're buying £2,000 worth of products from you. I think the importance of a growing business is treating everybody the same and giving everybody the same patient care, regardless of a price tag. That's what works for my business anyway.
I agree. Yeah. And do you know, one of the main things that I do whenever I'm doing, whether it's business mentoring or mentoring to someone who's been in the industry a long time, when I sit with them and I go through the business plan, always one of the aims they want to get out of is more patients. And actually, when I sit there and ask them how they're looking after their existing patients, sometimes they look at me really dumbfounded. And that's one of the things I say even in my clinic with the staff. It doesn't matter if this is a new patient or a patient of 5 years, you better give every single one of them a VIP treatment. And sometimes I've had it where a patient's been put in a room and they've gone off into the kitchen to have a coffee, and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Oh, it's just blah, 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 she's coming in to have this. And it's like, 1 minute, that's not acceptable. You know, everyone deserves that time, and it doesn't matter how much they're spending. They're still a loyal patient who's dedicated to you. And I think we've got to get out of, I mean, I'm not saying we do, but I think people shouldn't ever be in that mindset that the amount that someone's spending increases their value to you. It's just ridiculous.
I agree as well in my clinic, because as well, you've got to think of these clients that, yes, they might only be spending blah, blah every 3 months, but those clients might then tell 10 of their friends. I've got one client that's actually bought me 15 patients. And yes, she is just a toxin client or just a toxin client that comes every 3 months, but she's brought me so many other clients, and that's because she appreciates me and my business and who I am. And I think at the end of the day, we need to, I'm in the process of looking at a new clinic, and it's a big scary thing moving somewhere and moving to a different area as well. But one of my clients actually said to me, who is also another one of my toxin clients, we come for you. We don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not location.
Yeah, exactly. You could get this treatment anywhere else, but we come because you are that person.
But that is so important, and people forget that. You know, people think I'm crazy that I take a flight to Glasgow to get my treatments done once a year, but I'd be petrified about let anyone else touch my face.
Yeah.
And I think people will travel for who make them feel secure and safe and appreciated. You know, we've talked on the other podcast about when I went for a treatment once and literally felt like I was an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've just put £2,500 in your pocket and I've been waiting with a face full of numbing cream in a busy reception, and while you're on the phone ordering something for your clinic. I felt totally undervalued, and I think that is massive. Bob, look at it from your perspective. So from a pharmacy perspective, we're looking at this question from a
Clinic owner.
Clinic owner. So from your perspective, so you have clinics. Who are the more valuable clinics to you?
Well, I think it's pretty clear, listening to what you guys have just said, that our ethos is exactly the same. So it's the foundation of your business are your regular customers, no matter what size they are. So the people who've bought into what you do, how you do it, and they appreciate the way you do it because they come back time and time again. Vast majority of our pharmacy's businesses are very small the customers are, they would class themselves, probably if they class themselves as anything, they would class themselves as a very small business. And sometimes they actually don't realise how important they are. For us, it's absolutely vital that we retain those small customers because that is our foundation. Big customers, to be frank, come and go, and they can be lured away very easily by someone else making a better offer or whatever the case may be. You tend to find your loyal customers. I don't even look at the number in terms of what they spend. It's so important that they're happy where they are and they recommend other people. Just like you said, 15 customers coming to you from one person.
Amazing.
And
She's incredible.
you can't put a value on that.
No.
You can't.
So our ethos is exactly the same. I'd encourage any of your membership and your listeners just that not to worry about so-called placing small orders, because that's really what matters. The big ones definitely come and go. I wouldn't be too worried about that at all. But it's important to look after the foundations of your business, and then you can grow. And when you're looking at a new clinic, to be frank, the bank won't look at whether you've got 6 big customers who spend $3,000 a month with you. They'll look at how many customers have you got that spread the risk, and if you've got 1,000 customers on your books and they're all spending a very small amount of money, but as a total, it's a big thing. That's much more stable and much more important to the growth of the business than it is to have a couple of big clients, a big blue chip client or someone who's in the limelight on TV or something. Ultimately, they come and go, but your bread and butter, I suppose the old-fashioned term, is the key to successful business. We all pay our mortgages with those things.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
What do they say? Look after the pennies and the pounds.
Pounds will look
Take
after
care of
themselves.
It's very,
I think
very
patient
true.
experiences and client experience buying from pharmacies, I think the experience is what keeps people. And when you drop the ball there and you give a bad experience, that's when you're going to lose people. And I totally agree. I think bigger customers or bigger accounts, bigger patients, they do come and go if you really think about it. And the ones that
very
stay
true.
are the smaller patients and the smaller accounts.
Yeah.
And the last thing, let's be honest, the last thing you want to have to do is to go to your regular supplier and have to buy more because they say you have to buy more. I mean, ultimately, you can afford to buy what you can afford to buy or what you need. And that's what, certainly the supporting pharmacy like ours, that's our job. Our job is to support the clinics with what you need when you need it, and it's not about trying to increase your
Stretch
spend. Ultimately,
people,
it's about supporting you because it's a teamwork thing. The big ones, the big customers, they literally, we do have some excellent, loyal, big customers, but most of the ones who turn up out of the blue only come once and then you never see them again. It's much more important to concentrate on your core business.
And I think that's really important, isn't it, for our practitioners, our members. They're so sometimes ultimately devaluing themselves because they don't get those big clients, especially when someone's first starting out and they perhaps are not trained in doing a full face treatment. They don't have the capacity to turn a 1 hour appointment into a £2,000 treatment sometimes. But ultimately they shouldn't give themselves too hard a time for that.
And I think Bob mentioned there's an issue as well, is that when you get products sometimes to get a good spend or to get, free delivery or next day shipping or something, you're incentivized by buy 10, you get 8 free, or if you buy 10, we'll take £6 a box off. So sometimes I think people find that they fall into a trap of buying more that they don't need, and then they try and push products away. And that's as well, you lose patient experience when you start to do things for the wrong reasons. So when you start to treat people for the wrong reasons because you've got filler on a shelf that you need to get rid of instead of looking after the patient, I think that ruins the patient experience too.
I think that's treating people like patients and not like clients. And I think we need to get that right. I know we do, but I think some people fall into the trap of forgetting there's a difference.
Also, I think there's a confidence issue as well. And I think if you're confident that you can buy what you need when you need it without any other pressure, then it helps you because you're looking after your patient in the same way. So what do they need? It's nice to see you today. And then the consultation's not about, how many mil of filler do you want to sell? It's more about what does this patient need or this customer need right now.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure on you because you haven't got, just to allude to what
Yeah.
you've just said, you've not got 15 boxes sat in the cupboard,
Yeah.
you know, that you really need to shift because you're getting pressure to buy more. It should be, it skews the whole thing. That shouldn't happen in my view.
I think there's an element of shame as well, in like an internalized shame in the industry of, oh, I don't buy that much, or someone said to me, because I have stock on the shelf now that I buy because it's my most common used stock, and I don't have loads of it sat there, but I do have boxes that I don't necessarily have that person booked in, but I will use it. But another person who works in the industry came in and had a treatment with me and said, oh, but I haven't got to that point where I just have stock on the shelf. And I was like, that means nothing. It's just a box sat on a shelf that, yes, I probably will use at some point, but it's not a status symbol. No. It's not, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
You might be a better injector than me. It means nothing.
It doesn't, but we have got to change this. And somebody posted up a really great meme the other day, and it was about this comparison, and it's got to stop because there is something beautiful in everyone's journey, no matter what point they're at. And you can't compare yourself where you're at 2 years in to where someone is in 10 years in. You can't make those levels of comparisons, and you shouldn't even want to. I think we just need to focus on what we're doing, what our business is doing, and really. But I get what you're saying. It's a shame that was the first thing that almost she's intimidated by the boxes of filler on your side. Yeah. But I have also been on a flip side to this. I also had a nurse who was at my clinic who used to have boxes of empty filler on her side because she couldn't afford to buy them, but it made her feel inadequate that she didn't have them.
Really sad.
So she had empty
but
boxes.
She did it because she wanted to give the impression that she was busier. Is that sad, or is that where the industry needs to change?
Even people not in it. So my clinic manager, we filmed a day in the life of my clinic reel the other day. I think actually we filmed it when I think Acre have got it as well, so they can have a little look. But we filmed it, and I can't remember how, it was a crazy busy day, and I forgot I didn't film half of the patients I did, and I put it together, and she went, but you've not put everyone in that you've treated. And I'm like, and she said, well, it looks like you've done nobody. It's a really quiet day. It doesn't matter. But
it's just a snapshot
of the day.
Certain things.
She's like, but now you've only put 8 patients in there.
And people putting up their list
and some
this
people,
is my day today.
I've got 30.
I have no idea.
It drives me crazy. Like sometimes I have a day of 25 patients. I certainly wouldn't get up in the morning and write a list on my story of, look how much I've got. Yeah. And you have to go, I think everything has to be considered. What is the benefit of that?
Nothing.
What is the benefit of saying, look how busy I am? Now, there is, I suppose there is a benefit to practitioners to patients, because maybe they'll go, oh, a fear of loss, they're really busy, they're well sought after. I can kind of, in a way, see that. But is that the reason it's been done?
Sometimes it's a bit like a fake it till you make it, I think. Sometimes, I don't know, the people that shout the loudest maybe aren't. I don't know. I've been with us now. I'm quite comfortable, so I didn't mind that I hadn't put all 25 patients on there. Absolutely. I really didn't mind. But I think people that are newer to the industry have that fear a little bit more. So they maybe wouldn't do a day in the life of Reel because they don't feel like they've got enough patients to post on there. It's just sad then.
Do you know what, though? You see your patients, you shouldn't have to prove yourself, or shouldn't have to feel the need to prove yourself. It's sad really, but hopefully it will change.
Yeah, but maybe we say that because we are busy and we are happy in our businesses, and I guess some people listening might say, oh, I've done that because I'm not that certain way. But
little disclaimer, Kate isn't saying that you shouldn't celebrate your success, are you, Kate?
No, not at all, because every single one of us has had a journey, and we should totally be inspired to share that. Like you mentioned earlier, you're contemplating moving into that. You've openly discussed that vulnerability of moving into a premises, the time and the nerves and the consideration in that journey. You've shared that in a very candid and vulnerable way. You've not shared that in a way of, I'm moving premises because I'm so busy, and you're not. Yeah. And what I'm saying is we should ultimately scream from the hilltops every success and everything. And what is a success for me? Like, my first success was actually getting through a week and like making £100 profit,
Yeah.
paying all my bills and like being like, oh my gosh, I've still got money in the bank. And that was my success then. And when I hired a first member of staff and I spent my whole month thinking, am I going to earn enough to pay her wages? And then I paid her wages and I was celebrating that. Every single one of us should feel okay to celebrate that.
100%.
I'm not saying don't share your patient list. I'm not, but what I'm trying to say is we need to be cautious that when we celebrate our wins, which we should do, disclaimer, we just consider how we do it so that it comes across authentically and real and supportive to the person next to us who perhaps isn't in the position that we are.
So
And I
you're
think
saying
all of us do
remembering
that.
the journey. Yeah,
Remembering
remembering the
and
journey
sharing
that
that
took you
journey.
took you to those 25 patients a day, and
Absolutely.
how you might have felt being a new practitioner, seeing somebody saying, well, I've got 25 patients today and you've got 2.
Yeah.
So just remembering what would have
Absolutely.
inspired you and what would have hindered you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
But
is
also,
that
like
purpose?
people going, I've got my delivery of stock for the week and there's 2 boxes of filler in it and a pack of LMX, and thinking, I'm not going to put this on social media. Why not? Put it up. It's your stock. It's your week. It's
You
your
bought
business.
that.
You bought it. Celebrate it. What I'm saying is, don't not celebrate that because someone next to you put a box of 150 boxes of filler up and you feel inadequate. Don't feel inadequate. Why should we, and it works both ways. We don't want to celebrate certain wins because they're not as hefty as the person next to us who's just bought a Porsche. If you've just bought something and it's a fridge and it's a really nice fridge and you're really excited about that fridge, share the fridge.
I am really
Share
excited to
the
buy a
fridge.
new big fridge.
What I'm saying is we shouldn't ever be that considered that we don't embrace our own journeys because we're considering all the time how other people going to perceive it, so we're holding back. But on the same respect, we just always need to consider how that might impact someone.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this is a topic for another day.
It is.
We're on
Yeah.
a tangent.
We'll
Bob's
come back to
backed
you on that
out.
one.
Bob's ran away. Bob doesn't want to get involved.
They'll bring this to another podcast.
Absolutely.